Hey, it's Lori with the Capital Film Arts Alliance, and we are bringing you the CFAA Film Talk, Episode 2. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're live, you get to meet her in person, and you'll get to ask questions and give comments and join our live conversation with Robin Kincade. Robin is a producer with an extensive resume of jobs and environments and people that she's worked with, and we're going to go into a deep conversation with her. But before we do that, say hi, Robin.
Hi, how you doing? Nice to see you, Lori.
Hi. Thank you so much for coming to the CFAA Film Talk.
Thanks for having me, man. It's great.
There's no expense in our marketing, so yes. I hope you appreciate that.
I do. It looks great.
This is, of course, Facebook Live. So we're going to see, let's see, I do want to see the chats. I do want to see the chats that come on, and then I'll feed any questions to you if they come up. But what I want to do first and foremost, I'm going to talk about you just for a second, because one of the things that Robin has worked in reality TV and news and entertainment, virtually every show I can actually imagine she's been involved in when it comes to information and entertainment delivery, commercials, corporate, cable shows, sports, national and regional, documentaries, and then working with a slew of celebrities on different projects as well. So the types of jobs that she's held also range from director, producer, line producer, field producer, technical director, station promotion director, audio tech, camera operator, news photographer. Goes on and on and on. So the cool thing is that I really didn't know Robin well, and we've gotten to know each other through a series of in-depth quarantine phone calls, and it's allowed me to learn that she's just one of those really rare individuals that can do it all, has done it all, and gets to wear the t-shirt to brag about it. So what we're going to do is have a more in-depth conversation with her, but really quickly, I want to have push over to the quick video. Robin has a video series that she is also promoting called How to Break into the Film Business and How to Be a Successful Production Assistant, which is for those of you who truly know the business, the lifeblood of any production, and certainly the quickest path for somebody who is good at their job and passionate about doing it well to move quickly among the ranks. So how to do that and what that whole process is about is what we're going to hear from Robin. So we're excited about that. She's given us a little 5-minute clip to share with you that basically is the life of somebody in production. And so we're going to watch that real quick, and then we'll move over to hear from Robin. Aaron? Aaron, not getting any audio. Can you stop and restart?
Something's wrong with the source.
Yeah. The heck. Aaron, it should be coming from your screen. Is your audio on? Damn it.
I love it. Who is that woman?
Okay, we're figuring this stuff out, so you guys bear with us. Okay, his is on.
That's what happens when we try to be a TV station.
Okay, I don't know why it's doing that, but it does us no good to watch this if we can't hear it. So let's just
go back. Here we go. Well, we can talk about it.
We're just going to go back. You know, I have a whole list here too, Robin, of your whole course outline, which I think rather than me reading it is going to be a lot more interesting hearing you share. The video that we were trying to share with you, we will link it into the comments field for the Facebook chat, so that way you can actually watch it if you haven't seen it already. And it's this is kind of an cool inside look at you know, what this career field is all about, and people that are in it or work with people in it, and what they have to say about it. So definitely watch that. It also gives you a really good sense of where Robin is coming from in her complete video series. So as soon as we can meet again in person and have, you know, gatherings, we've already got Robin locked into coming in and working with our Sacramento filmmakers and friends. So we'll definitely have her here. But in the meantime, I'm going to throw it over to you. And Robin, please do a better job of telling your story.
Oh, it's easy. It's easy. The story is an amazing story, actually, because you know, I didn't know that this life even existed. To be quite honest, when I came out of high school, I knew I was not going to be great at college. And I moved up to Humboldt, and I found myself a job, believe it or not, working in a lumber mill, which was a big money. My $13 an hour in 1977 was big money. In fact, my friend and I got the jobs together, and we were like, we're rich, man. We couldn't believe it. But the work, of course, turned out to be incredibly difficult and dirty and hard and long hours and really dull, just really dull work. And I was fortunate enough to be pulling wood in a dry sorter chain next to a brilliant young man who was going to Humboldt State, who later became a professor. And I think I was his first student, because he convinced me, literally convinced me, that I had what it took to get out of the mill. Like, it took him some time, but eventually I got a job. He took me out one day, and we made some lists, and we made a plan, and I did exactly what he said. And you can read about it on my website in the backstory. And within 3 days, I was out of that mill, and I was working in a television station in an office job. I had to cut my pay in half, but here I was like, I wasn't wearing mill clothes or a hard hat and the gloves. I was wearing nice clothes and going into an office every day. And I learned every job in that station that I could get my hands on. And eventually I became a master control board operator, runs the station. And then I became a news photographer, then station's promotion director. And so I did a whole bunch of stuff there, and eventually moved to Sacramento. And I still didn't know anything about freelance at this point. I was really looking for a J-O-B, a job, a real job. Well, I moved to Sacramento. I wanted to be in the Bay Area, but I knew I just couldn't. It was too big of a jump. So I jumped markets to Sacramento, and I lived in Sacramento for 7 years. And that's actually where I really entered the business, in my opinion. Sure, I did all that stuff up in Humboldt, but it was under the umbrella. It wasn't my umbrella. It was somebody else's umbrella. And so I got this job, Derek Packard from Double Vision Production Company in Sacramento. I went to interview with him. I'll never forget it. He's a real nice guy. He's like, I'm not going to give you a job, Robin, but if you want to freelance as a PA, that's a good way to get into the business. And man, that just rang in my ears. I was like, what's that? I didn't even know what a PA was. I'm not sure people do now. I know some do and some don't. So he explained to me that a production assistant is an entry-level position where you do what they say, basically. You go in and you run for coffee, shut that, person down talking on set. You have to do what they say. So I entered the business, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I built a career that has been, I've been really fortunate, Lori. The only thing I really haven't done a lot of is movies. I've been on a Bollywood set, but I've touched pretty much every other aspect of life.
I noticed that. I was wondering about narrative, and I didn't see a lot of that in your list. Although, girl, that list is pretty long.
It took me a while to put it together. I had to go back into my files and really look at this and what I had done. But the things I chose to do, see, a narrative is like, you're working 5 to 6, 8 months, sometimes a year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want that lifestyle. I want a week. I want 2 days. And then I want another environment. I want another story. It's a very addictive life that way, is that you are literally addicted to adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And I became this person that, I'd get a call from Extra. Are you available next week? Yes. What's the story? I'll send you the story. And then I would get the story. They would hire the camera person and the audio person. And as a team of 3, we go out and we do a shoot. And that's how most of my life was all through the 2000s. I got to do some incredible stories. I've been embedded with the police a number of times in a number of different ways, not only with the sheriff's office, but with the highway patrol and with regular cops, like, city police, for weeks at a time. And that's a very interesting thing. They sent me down to Las Vegas when 30,000 bikers descended upon Las Vegas. And I had 5 crews underneath me. And I tell you, that was a very interesting week. And we saw a lot of stuff. We were in bars, we were on casino strips, we were on the streets, and we were looking for fights. That's what, from my guy, that's what they wanted, right? And we found a fight the very last night. They were all, the editor and the producers back home were very disappointed because nothing was happening. It was all quiet, and the police were so, happy about that. And here we are trying to get some excitement, but we can't do anything. We're just like the fly on the wall, right? And the last night a fight happened, and it was really intense. So that kind of stuff, you just have to play it by ear and make sure that your crew is safe. That's the most important thing, even up and above the footage.
Yeah.
Safety is number one. Safety, not just of your crew, but of the police officers that you're working with. Because a little riot started, and I put the camera down, and the riot stopped immediately. And then we moved away, and we shot long lens. Who cares? We still got the shot. We didn't make a riot. Right? That's the kind of stuff you learn on the street. Every day is different, and you have to bring your A game every day, because it's not the same ever. Mm-hmm. So those are just some of the things. I've worked on jobs where I've interviewed 6 women who firmly believed they were abducted by aliens. They flew me internationally for that job. I had to spend almost 3 months researching alien lore. Ask me anything about aliens, I tell you.
Wow.
They kept asking me, do you believe me? Do you believe me? I'm like, look, I'm not going to tell you whether I believe you or not, because that's not about me. It's about you. And so you just have to tell me your story. And they did. And you know what? I believed them. By the end of the show, I really did. So
if nothing else, you believe that they believe.
Yeah, well, I knew they believed. It wasn't that. It was more that they were credible.
Yeah.
That was the thing that was really amazing to me. Not all of them. I interviewed 6 women. 4 of them were incredibly credible. And then, of course, you're just like, well, the aliens aren't bothering me, so I'm just going to forget about that and move on. And that's what I did.
So from your first experience as a PA, what did you learn? What was the most important lessons that you learned?
Most important, there's so many of them. I would say attitude is like the number one thing. It really is. It is. And people say, well, what does that mean? It's not just about being nice, because being nice is great. It's a good thing. You want to be nice. But this attitude you have to have is kind of a team spirit, can-do attitude. That's why this COVID doesn't really bother me. You know, people are like, oh, we're not going to have work and everything's going to, no. Do you not understand how the film community works? Oh, you want that building moved over there? We can do that. Oh, you want to pick that ship up and shoot underneath it? Yeah, we can do that. I mean, this is how we are. We do this all the time. We're the masters of our universe. If we have enough money and time, we can do just about anything, because this is our attitude. And that's the kind of attitude you have to have. It's a can-do, we can do this. And then from there, there's layers of what is standing by. When you run an errand, how should you run an errand? You don't just go out and run an errand and come back. There's a way to run an errand correctly in the film and video industry. And people just don't know that. So my course, what I tried to do, because I sure could have used this course, Lori. I really could have. I could have used this course many years ago. I wrote the course for myself. Like, for instance, once you become a PA, your car becomes your office. You don't think it does. It's just your car. But believe it or not, it does. And there's problems with that. You can get in trouble. You decide to just stop off on the side of the road and make some notes. You better know where you're stopping. Is it safe? Is it a bad part of town? You're going to be in bad parts of town. You have to look around. You have to have things in your car that you're going to need. You know, it's just all this kind of stuff that PAs don't understand, that they don't get until they're in the job. So that's what I wrote the course for. And the course really covers that kind of hidden stuff that people don't talk about. You know, really, that and also really common sense things like how to lock down a set. What is locking down a set? What's the right way to lock down a set? You know, how to check out a walkie to a crew. There's a way to do it. How to do petty cash. All of that kind of stuff. And that's what you learn as a PA. And the reason that there's such a hierarchy in this business and people start out as PAs is that the creative process is not a democratic process. Mm-hmm. The creative process is a hierarchy with a vision, a creative vision. And everybody has to get on that train and have that vision together. And that's the director's vision. And so that's the attitude we're looking for. Right. And that's hard to get right out of the gate. You have to really kind of be prepped for it.
And the recognition too of coming in as a PA can be everything from, you know, running to get coffee to working in the accounting department. You know, each department has its own division of production assistants. And I'm sure in your course, you go into detail about each division and what that job entails.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's a ton of jobs for PAs, and we explore some of that, and we're continuing to explore some of that in our blogs. I just interviewed a young man, John Snyder, down in LA, who is a set PA in LA, and he started out. He didn't even know this world existed. He was working as a waiter, and he got laid off. And a friend said, "Why don't you go be an extra over here for this movie?" And so he did. And they ended up using him as an actor, so they couldn't use him as an extra anymore. But the producer liked him, so she's like, "Why don't you come work in the pre-pro?" And now, this is 5 years later, he's a set PA about to join the union. He's making really good money. He travels all over the world. He had no idea this world even existed. But he walked on with the right attitude. And they moved him up quickly. And here's the biggest secret of it all. You would think that it's hard to break in and they don't want you, and you show up and you don't know what you're doing and somebody yells at you and it's just miserable. They want you. They want you. Crews want you. But they want you to know where to park. They don't want to have to train every PA that comes on the set. And it'll be a lot easier if you know what's expected of you, at least out of the gate. You have a number of levels of learning to do that I haven't even told you. This goes very deep. I'm just giving them the first pass, how to get in and not get fired within the first week, and then how to move up right? So for PAs, there's a ton of work. There's PAs that do all kinds of different things. And you're not going to be that PA when you first join up. You're going to be the PA that goes gets coffee. You're going to be the PA that stands over on the side and they'll call over when they need somebody. They already have those inner PAs because they're working with known entities. You're going to be the new PA. So that's the thing about this is it's really a layered process of moving through the industry, but being a PA is a great way to get in. It'll get you in quick and you'll make money, not a lot, but you can hustle it. I lived as a PA for 3 years. It was a long time. I needed help.
I think if you can find consistent work, though, that's the key. And that's where, I think that what we're trying to build in the Sacramento region is, growth in production so that we have enough work that we can keep a stable workforce in place without having to wave goodbye to all of our production people that are
absolutely. The way I did it, Lori, is I diversified. So I started doing corporate and government and sports. And I was able, it was rough at times. I'm not saying it was really easy, but I did not have to have a second job for the 3 years that I was a PA. Sports was huge. They use a lot of PAs in sports. Events is another one. Look around for events. And in the course, I say all of these things. I tell them, first of all, what they can expect to be doing, what kind of jobs are out there. And it's not me. This is the best part about this course. I interviewed over 20 professionals in the industry and they tell them. So we have all kinds of people that have been working in the industry for 20, 30 years here in the Bay Area that bring their expertise and tell them where to find clients, what kind of jobs you're going to be doing, what to be aware of, how to, one of the things is to take care of yourself. All of a sudden, now you're a PA, you're getting calls all the time. You're super excited. The adventure is high, but you're not taking care of yourself. You're not eating right. You're partying too much. You're telling all your friends what a cool person you are, because you are. And then you fall because you aren't, so all of those things are in the course, and they're all really important to being successful, because the difference in pay from a PA to your very first entry level, whatever that is, whether that's a associate producer or maybe assistant camera or VTR, working in the tape department, you move from, like, let's say 150 to 200 a day to 450 to 500 a day, just like that. That's
a big jump. Okay, real quick, just because we've got no rhyme or reason to this, so we're going to test you by popping in and out of what you can tell us. But we've had a couple of questions. What would a PA do in this situation we had with the audio? Thanks. Let me see.
Look for the audio guy.
And it wants to know if you work with an agent or if you're still freelancing.
I'm still freelancing. I don't work with an agent. I don't really need an agent. I have clients, and my clients, when they work, they call me. So right now, of course, I'm not working much because I'm not in the post world. I'm in the, I wanted to live in the world. I didn't want to live in a room. So that's the first thing, really, in production. You can do whatever you want. If you're talented enough and you're good, you can do it all. I am not a fan of post. I fall asleep in the edit room. It's not my thing. I got to be moving and touching. And so I became focused more on shooting than post. And a lot of people take it from beginning to end, and I do that also. But for most of my career, I wanted to be out in the big world, right? So that's what I focused on. And you can do that. You have to know know yourself. Do you like adventure, or do you like to be the master of your universe? Those are really the two, right?
Right.
If you like adventure, then go out and shoot. If you want to be the master of your universe and everything has to be in its place and you're a little tight, you better go to the post.
Yeah.
They'll love you. They'll love you.
So Melissa Warren's online. Hi, Millie. And she wants to know, how can you negotiate your rate as a PA, and what is a fair price for a PA and different experience levels? So could you expect, because you have experience, that that pay rate would be affected?
Yeah, absolutely. If you have experience, what you need to do is talk to the other PAs. Find out what the going rate is. All right. You're going to get the going rate. If the going rate is $200, you're not going to be able to move yourself into a $250 because they'll just go get the $200 PA and pass you by. You're a PA. You don't have a lot of negotiation skills as a PA. Once you move to the next level up, then you can have some negotiation skills. We do talk about that moving up. Justin Vong, who was a PA for many years and now has moved up into the camera department, talks about, so let's say you want to, get a higher rate. The way you do that, and I'm just going to tell you here because we might as well. He says, what you do is you say to the producer says, oh, well, it's a $400 rate, and your normal rate is $550 a day. So you say to the producer, well, that sounds okay, but my normal rate is this. Is there any way we can get closer to that? Is that possible? That's how you do it, right? You never say money. You never say cash or, I need more money. You say your rate. My rate is normally, as a PA, that's really tough. If you are a lead PA, for instance, in a job that has a number of different PAs and you're running everything, you might be able to get a little bit more depending upon the client. And again, you could go up to the client and you could say something to the effect of, I really love working this. I'm really excited to have all this experience. And I'm glad that you put me in this position. Is there any way that could be reflected in my rate? Right? My rate. That's how you want to word that stuff.
I hear people making notes. Right.
Buy the course. It's only $100. It's 74 videos, and I'm telling you straight out, if you go on the website and you look at the reviews, you'll see, because I've had a number of people write me some reviews, and one of them says it's going to basically change his trajectory in the business. Now he understands what he needs to do to go out and get the job and then to move forward. He's going to be a director. This is Diodonis.
We know Diodonis. We're familiar with him here. He has already made quite an impressive splash.
Well, he's been through the course, and Diodonis is a smart guy. So, I mean, the course is really to help people and to help the production community not have such in Italian, they call it a scivola, huh? It's just scivola, such a rubbing against each other. How many wonderful production assistants who could have been incredibly creative crew members or producers or directors did we lose because they didn't know anything about coming onto a set and got fired in the first week and completely lost faith that this could be their thing?
Mm-hmm.
We will never know because there's nothing like this course. You can go to LA for a weekend. You can go to New York for a weekend. You can go to LA and they run you through a weekend school. You got to go to LA. You got to get a room and you got to, show up for this course. And in New York, you can learn how to be a set PA, which you're never going to come out being a set PA. You take that course, you think somebody's going to hire you as a set PA if they don't know you? No.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of get known. And that's what this course will do. It'll help you get in that entry-level place. It's not pretty, but it'll help you get in. It'll help you get in easier so that you can become a known entity. And once you become known, believe it or not, it's all going to be about avails after that. Are they available? Are they available? Is that person available? Is that person? They're not available? What about that person? Oh, they're known. Yeah, let's hire her.
Yeah, I've seen too many people that have come in and quickly escalated their production capabilities and involvement in such a short amount of time, because truly we all want to work with people that we have that familiarity with. So when they come on set and they are fun to work with and dependable, and somebody that is working as a part of the team and not just somebody that has to be dragged along, man, that's the first person I want to call the next time I'm casting or crewing or whatever the case may be. Let's see. Missy is asking again, Melissa, hold on. Did I miss a question? How can you put on your resume or create a resume for a PA, especially if you're new? Are you basically a gopher? LOL.
Okay. So in the course, we go over that. Chris Knox gives us some really good advice about resumes. Put your resume together, make it a one-pager. Don't just put your jobs, but put something about yourself, because this job is really about who you are. PAs are the heart of a crew. So put your goals. I want to do this, or I want to be a director, or I want to be a producer, or this has inspired me. Anything like that, we're going to be looking at. Something that we always like to see are service-oriented jobs. Waiters, right? People who cater or work for catering companies. What is a film job? A film job is, everybody shows up, you light it, you block it, you shoot it, you eat, you repeat. Light it, block it, shoot it, you eat, right? You have lunch, it's just a party where you're working. So catering is really built for that kind of stuff. For another one would be the airline industry. The airline industry is about to lose a lot of work. Those people would be perfect for this kind of work because they're patient, they listen well, they follow orders, they're used to working in tight places. That's the kind of stuff that, is helpful to that.
Yeah.
And let's see, are you basically a gopher? Yeah, you're a gopher. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a good gopher. If you're a good gopher, then pretty soon
you'll move up.
Directing the gophers.
Yeah. And here's the thing. That gopher job is super important, believe it or not. There's these PAs are important. You may not feel important. And a lot of times when I was a PA, I really did not feel important. I just like they kind of put me aside. But believe it or not, they're watching you. They're watching how you do. Are you patient? Are you there when they want you? It's really a training camp to move you into the next level of being a crew member. If you complain a lot, you're not going to make it. If you talk bad about other people, or you gossip, or you don't like the food on the craft services table, and you go up and you say, well, what's that doing here? Or why don't I have my, the right kind of apples? Not going to make it. It's that simple. Somebody will overhear that and say, well, what are they complaining about? That's the kind of thing that my course talks about. It in depth through other people is what mistakes they made and what the mistakes they see being made, and also what the good things are that you can do on a set. So for instance, Hilton has a great story about loading into a van at crew parking. Crew parking is super, super serious stuff. Because crew parking at the beginning of the day can put, if things go bad, it could put the whole shoot back by an hour if crew parking doesn't go well. Right? People can't get to the set. So here you are at crew parking. It's your first day. You finally found the right place to park. You're there early. All is good. You've got the director right there. You're talking to him. Everything is good. You're about to get in the van. And you get in the van first and you take the best seat, as you would as a human being. I would. Wrong. You go to the back of the van. You take the worst seat. If you do that, that director will look at you and go, yeah, I see. I see that person. Not everyone, but this is how you get noticed.
Know your hierarchy.
Yes. Know your hierarchy.
And
be okay with it. Because you're going to climb up that ladder. You are. And it's going to be really cool on the other side. Trust me on that. I've had an unbelievable career and still do. I spent 2 years with the NBA in 2018 and 2019. I've met almost every NBA player face to face, close like this. Hi, how you doing? I'm like, what's your name? Because I don't follow basketball. They're like, oh. I'm like, oh, sorry, because you're like this all the time, right? They're so tall. But that's the kind of stuff. I mean, I got to spend the day with Chris Isaac one day, all day, me and Chris. Yeah, he's beautiful. But he doesn't drink at all, ever. Not even a glass of wine. Like, the guy is different, but beautiful. And what a voice, you know. We ended up in Bakersfield at his hometown with the band, at the guitar shop, everybody hanging out. You know, I spent the day with Christina Aguilar one day on her 18th birthday, all day, her and I. That's the kind of stuff you get to do. And if you can get through the first year, I think Hilton Day was what, maybe a year as a PA, maybe 2 at the most. At the most. We saw Hilton coming a mile away. Everybody was like, oh God, that guy's going to make it. And he is. He's an AD now. And he's really, really good at what he does. I'm reading now, being patient, flexible. Yes.
Can you see, are you looking at
I'm looking at her questions. Okay, Melissa, I can tell you that being a confident and competent PA means being a confident and competent human being. So my suggestion is every morning you wake up in the mirror and you look at yourself and you give yourself a good message. I gave myself the message, you know, I'm like it. And that helps. It really does. Being a confident person comes from here. And to do that, of course, is you have to believe in yourself. And to believe in yourself, you have to actually physically go out and be in the world and conquest things, if that makes any sense. Patient, flexible, and accommodation, but drawing boundaries. So you're not overworked, mistreated, not kissing booty. Okay, this is a really good point. You're going to have clients that abuse you. It's just that simple. They're going to be people that are mean. They're going to be people that are rude, that overwork you, that don't keep to the deal. Happens all the time, and not just to PAs. And so as a PA, once you get past a PA, then you can make some different decisions. But as a PA, you bite it. You just get through it and don't work for that person again, ever. You get through the job. Mm-hmm. And don't work for that person. If you have to quit, you replace yourself. So you don't just walk off a job. Now, if somebody is actually super abusive, well, that's different. I mean, I don't think anybody should be abused. And that's so rare. I mean, you might get somebody who's rude. You're going to have to bite it. But like really abusive, no, you don't have to take it. Just like any human being, you don't have to take that. Kissing booty. I don't look at it really like kissing booty as much as being part of a team that's trying to get something done. So if you come onto a professional crew, you'll see a lot of people coming up, how can we do this? I mean, everybody is really focused on the job. And there are personalities, I'm not going to say there aren't, and every job is different, but you won't have to do a lot of kissing. Not in my opinion. I'm not a real good booty kisser. So, you know, but you will have to be patient. And if you don't like something, get through it, get on the other side of it, and then never work for that person again.
And just realize too, that the nature of the business is hurry up and wait and bust your ass and not. So sometimes you will totally be expected to bust your ass because that's the nature of where you're at in the whole scheme. Other times when you're sitting around and waiting for your next cue or instruction. But I think for me as a producer, PAs that I've brought on board that are able to think proactively about what everyone is doing and how they can contribute to that whole picture are the ones that I repeatedly want to bring back.
Anticipation, absolutely. And here's the thing. I want to go back to that first thing, and then we'll talk about anticipation. I just worked Bottle Rock, I think 2 years ago, that huge concert up in Napa.
Mm-hmm.
And we hired 5 or 6 PAs. And we needed them every once in a while, but for the most part, we just told them to go over there and sit. And that's what they did all day long. When we needed them, we'd pull them and then go back over and sit. And a couple of them were new and a couple of them weren't. And the new ones were a little confused about why they weren't working, and nobody cared about what they were doing, and why wasn't it about them? And the other ones were just like, they got a book. They knew how to spend their time. They knew that they didn't have to look busy because we didn't care. We just wanted them when we wanted them. In other jobs, that's not the case. In other jobs, you're going to have to kind of look busy, and you're going to have to find things to do, and you're going to have to judge each job differently. But that's half the fun, in my opinion. It's never the same, ever. Each job is different. So if you crave adventure, oh my gosh, this is the way to go. It really is. And then what was the second point? I wanted to talk about that, and then I forgot. Sorry.
Affirmation. I want to say the very first film that I was on, and my job, which I knew nothing. So I was continually, my role was increasing as I proved myself with each step. And I was in charge of finding PAs to babysit a generator, because we had a generator running on a project all night long while we were shooting someplace else. So we had found somebody, we brought them on board, and at the very last minute, they bailed, and it was like a midnight shoot, and it was a big pain in the butt, because now you got to scramble and find somebody. And I asked the director, should I call her and see if I can, convince her to come out, even if it's only for a few hours? And he said, fuck no. If you have to convince her to come on set for anything, you're going to have to convince her to do her job from the whole time she's here. We're not going there.
Yeah.
And it was really, at the time, I thought, coming from this background in sales and stuff, I thought, well, you negotiate with people, whatever. And I realized, no, in this business, he was very right. You don't want somebody that you have to convince to come on set and do their job.
You have to have passion for it.
And convince you that they are damn good at their job. So.
That's it. You want somebody that's there 15, 20, 30 minutes early, that understands that this is an opportunity, and it is. It's an opportunity to a door of a career that not many people have.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's a very creative industry. There's so many things you can do. I'd love to talk a little bit about, I think you asked me earlier, what kind of different things once you stop being a PA. I mean, teleprompter operator, craft services, right? Besides a director of photography or assistant director or assistant camera, which are all those jobs that everybody thinks they want to do. There's so many jobs that are super fun on a set. Props and wardrobe, the art director. Then there's the set, which is different from props and wardrobe, right? And everybody has their delineation. And as a PA, the best thing is you'll be able to work with all of those different departments and find which department. You may think, like Hilton thought he wanted to be an editor. What a loss that would have been, right? Put that great attitude in a room and close it up. No. Once he got on a set and started PAing, he knew immediately where he wanted it. I want to be an AD.
Yeah, and you never fit.
That's what he's doing. And he would not have known that if he hadn't have been a PA. So people who are coming out of school and they really, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I have a lot of respect for that. I do. And I think to know who you are and know what you want is great. But don't be afraid to change it if you think you found something better. It's okay. Just let that old go and go for the new. And a good way to find that out is be a PA.
It's also, the more you know, the more hireable you are, the more employable you are, because you can fit into several different holes. And I think that especially in independent filmmaking, that's where we can progress very, very quickly in the craft that we take on and the roles that we take on. And you go so fast from being a PA to producing your project that you wrote yourself. I mean, seriously.
Absolutely. You actually, you can produce your life. I mean, that's what eventually I started doing. I just took it past. I'm going to stop working. I'm going to still work for my clients, but I'm going to start producing my life. And then that's a whole nother level of life, right? But you can move into this industry quite quickly if you know what you're doing, if you know what's expected of you. The crews want you. We're always looking for good PAs. And if they're good, they're going to take you under their wing. They're going to mold you and they're going to move you up. But if you're not, they're going to spit you out. It's that simple. It's clear. And so if you have some information to know what to expect, your chances of being successful as a PA go up exponentially, big time. I wish I'd had this course. I really do. I wrote this course, like I said, for myself.
So as an example, just to take them through this. So the course, I don't care how experienced you think you are. It's extremely good information to go back and revisit, even if you think you know. And if you really don't know, this is a very thorough look at all the different stages and what you do and why you do it. And so let's, what Robin is offering to the viewers and to the CFAA is a 20% discount on the entire program. This is a unique offer for you because what I would recommend, and this is my question, my follow-up question with you, Robin, is, watch this series, get familiar with the terms and get comfortable with the language and the expectations of what that job is. That's going to help you immensely. But then, Robin, once they have that information, and I certainly cannot encourage people, again, if it's your first time out of the gate, find the work. There are people all around you in the region that are creating something, and that at some point you can reach out to them and say, I love what you did. The next time you work on something, give me a call. I'd love to be in the background, because I'm a big fan of when you see work that resonates with you because it's done well. That's the kind of project you really want to be on and you want to learn more from. It's great that your friend next door who, is shooting in his garage and his mom's going to be the DP wants you to, work on his movie. But seriously, people, get projects out there that you think are awesome and figure out how you can finagle your way onto the next set. Within the industry itself. So once you've watched this video, you've worked on a couple of short films, and you've got a much better feel of, where you fit into the project. Robin, what would you recommend for people that really want to extend themselves beyond the independent work they can find in their own backyard, and where the best place, if you don't have those connections, say in the North Bay area, how do they do
that? Yeah.
Is it Mandy.com? Is it some other website that you can refer people to with some kind of, I would never recommend people to go to Craigslist, for God's sake, but
I would recommend to people to look around your community, look at your theater groups, look at your sporting groups, look at your events, look around and see what's out there. See what kind of concerts everybody hires PAs. Events hire PAs in a huge fashion. There's all kind. They don't really call them PAs, but that's what they are. You want to get that kind of work and add it to your resume and get some money coming in. Volunteer if you're brand new. What I would do is I would go down and I would find for here in San Francisco, it's the SF Reel Directory. I'm sure they have one for Sacramento, do they not?
It's actually, the Reel Directory has a Sacramento segment.
Great.
And Annette Freeman, who runs that.
Yeah, she's great.
We're trying to work hard in populating that with more of the artists from this area, for more of the craftspeople from this area.
So you find those. Go ahead.
One of the things that becomes a little bit of an issue when you've got a lot of the workforce coming from being, I don't mean this bad, but I mean, as a hobbyist, as a non full-time professional, one of the best filmmakers I know works at Channel 3. He's got a full-time gig working there, and then he makes short films and other projects. And so there's a lot of people who are juggling different things. So they don't promote themselves as actively as you might, because this is your business and you're only looking to get hired in this capacity. So that's one of the kind of sticky areas where I think we would have a better representation in the Real Directory if we had more of the population that was like,
absolutely,
okay, I'll stick my foot out onto the, pier. Whereas I don't want to do that because I can't do it during the day. I have to work.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of a weird environment until we build more consistent production and have a stronger foothold for our hobbyists to flip over to full-time, artists, or for other people to populate the area that represent that group, which is, again, that's another morphing that's happening quite frequently in Sacramento. So we are definitely building something here, and we need to incorporate the Bay Area more. I encourage people to sign up for the Real Directory because it is really our own resource right now.
Unbelievable resource.
Yeah.
So we have a question. How do you get the first job? That's a really good question. The first job is super important. First of all, don't turn anything away. Take your first job. How do you get that first job? Well, you could go to the Real Directory and you look at the production companies in your area in the Real Directory, and you reach out to them. You email them first, and you tell them, and you send them your resume, and then you email them like 2 weeks later, and then you email them 2 weeks later. If you really like the company, maybe you send them a rose or a box of chocolates or something. I mean, you court these people. Trust me, if you court them, they eventually a job will come up and they'll hire you. It may take a couple of months, but don't just do one, do 5. Pick 5 companies that you like, and then you make that list. These are my 5. I'm going to call them once a month, or I'm going to call them every 2 weeks. I'm going to write them. I'm going to get them on Facebook. I'm going to engage them. You'll get hired. Eventually, you will get hired. It's really, this business is a social business. That's what this business is. It's really a social business. Find out other PAs. Look in the Real Directory and look at other PAs, and then reach out to them if you know any of them. And if you don't, reach out to them anyway. Say, hey, I'm really interested in getting in the business. I know that you probably don't like it that I'm competing with you, but will you help me? And they will. They will. This is our business.
And you look to see what we're blessed by having social media and the technology that we have today that allows us to stay connected like this. And so the CFAA, if those of you who do not know who we are and what we do, we typically host 3 meetings a month that allow people to connect. We have a writer's workshop, a filmmakers forum, and a screenwriters lab every month. And then in addition to that, we publish a weekly newsletter and then have active social media and website access. There's lots of things that we do to help you kind of interconnect. So wherever you are, whether it's in the Bay Area or in Sacramento, look to see what your resources are. There's always a good fit. There's a group that might be a better fit for you than others. You just got to kind of find your way into that. I think I'm probably a little biased, but Sacramento has an incredible opportunity here to build something and to be connected as a community that most people don't find in other areas. So as you're navigating what you're doing, we're trying to bring people like Robin in front of you to hear from her and to learn from her and others. It's just a really cool thing that we can find ways to do it all together.
Because it is social. We are in this together. This is the most social business I think I know of, really. If you're trying to get into this business, you need to get on the phone and start talking to people. You need to go out to the parties that are happening that you can get to. Right now, we're not doing that, but we will again. It'll start happening again. Get on Facebook. Go to the groups. Join as many groups as you can and read what's going on. Find out what resonates with you. This is how you're going to get work. This is how you're going to do it. You got to put the time in. But on the other side of it, I'm telling you, there is a career out there for you waiting that is just, it has exceeded my expectations for a lifestyle. And I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's what's so exciting. And what my course does is it takes you from the very beginning all the way through. The last course of the series is what about taxes? How do I market myself on a regular basis? I take you all the way through so that you can actually start your business up and get it going and blow on those little flames of the business so that eventually you can have a roaring fire to sit in front of and regale your friends with these stories that they will never believe. I'm not kidding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have stories that people are like, what?
So true. One of the things, the mention that was just made, so Access Sacramento is hosting their annual Place Called Sacramento Film Festival. In years past, they have a big, huge physical cast and crew call in their yard at their offices. And it's a huge event, and it's quite, fun. All the different projects that are going to be filming that have won this competition that are now looking for cast and crew. They are going to be hosting that information or hosting that online live. I don't have the information. Access Sacramento, if you go to their website, you can get all of the details about how to connect with that. My point is, and Jennifer West, who's our Sacramento Film Commissioner, and she's on the call, my point is, and thank you for mentioning that, is that so for those of you who haven't heard this story already, my very first film ever was a PCS film. It was like I jumped on this bandwagon. I had no idea what it was about. I went with a friend, and I remember telling the director, I don't know anything about movies, making movies. I know how to make phone calls, and I know how to make coffee, so I can probably help somewhere. And that was literally how I got onto my first project, and it was a PCS, Place Called Sacramento Film Project. It was one of those aha moments that once I got on set and I saw what was happening, and I started learning what all the different jobs were and what they contributed to the end result. It was not only an aha moment where I just went, I love this. I fit here. I don't even know the language, but I dig this environment. When you feel that, and when you love it the way that I did, you will undoubtedly find the benefit of that, because it takes no time afterwards before people are going, hey, you want to work on this? I'm working on this again. Hey, somebody's looking for this. Would you be available? But the PCS film or any other short-term kind of film project is a great way to get your feet wet. People are not paying you. That's not the kind of experience you're going to be getting here, but just to get your feet wet and to see what happens on set and see what kind of is a good fit for you and your skill sets. I cannot recommend higher enough Access Sacramento's PCS program. So check it out, because that's going to be happening tomorrow. There will be 10 filmmakers who will be looking for cast and crew, and we'll try and promote through our website and through our social media pages what they might be looking for. So definitely jump on board. Let's see, do we have anything else?
That's actually a really, what you just talked about there is a perfect opportunity for somebody who has no experience. A perfect opportunity. And if you have experience but you're not getting work, there's another opportunity. Chris Knox puts it pretty succinctly. He says you have to find your tribe.
Mm-hmm.
When you find your tribe, they're going to recognize you, you're going to recognize them, and you're all going to go, woo, because that's how it works. And it'll be instantaneous. You'll see it. You'll have a number of tribes too. There'll be people that you work with in teams, not just one, but a number of them. But you have to find those people. It's like a little treasure hunt. That's how I like to look at it. Don't look at it like if you're working to get this stuff and you're trying to get don't work at it for 5-6 hours a day. Work at it for 2 or 3 hours a day. Then go to the park. Go down to the beach. Go over, go to the river. Go take a walk. Go to the movies. Have a good time. Come back to it the next day. Don't get tired. Don't get burnt.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Make it a project of joy. And believe me, it'll work. It will work.
Yeah, I think that's a good guideline. Aaron, can you see if we can play that? Did you figure out how to play that video? I might be talking to the air. I see you there.
Yeah, so you would have to play it.
I know we couldn't have headphones on. Bear with us because, like many of you, we don't really know what we're doing either.
So if we can't get it up, if they do want to see the video, they can see it really easy. If you go to my website, it's www.kincadeproductions.com, and you sign up for the free videos. There's 3 free videos there. The first video is just basically what is a PA. It's I think it's a 6-minute video. And a lot of PAs come on and tell what the job is like. So we interview a whole bunch of PAs. And they tell you firsthand what their experience has been and what's important to them. And then the second video is what the course brings you. So it's kind of like just an overview of the course. And then the third video is why should you do this? Why should you do what they say? What? I have to what? I have to what? I have to dig in the dirt here? Why? And it really lays out what this career offers from people who tell you firsthand how their careers have been and what it's meant to work in this business. If this business is for you, there's no other business. You won't be happy in any other business.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not for you, don't take this course and go somewhere else. But if this business is for you,
go get that accounting degree, whatever.
Yeah, we don't care.
You have a comment on here too. Tara Reynolds, who I know has recently done your series, and she says this has been so great, and your workshop series is spot on. Thank you.
Wonderful. So thank you, Tara.
Good feedback. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really tried to write this for myself. I really tried to go back and remember what it was like to not know what I was doing. And what was that like? Yeah. And emotionally, what was that like to walk on a set and not know where to go, not know who to check in with, not know anything. And so that's what I tried to give these guys, is just a piece of confidence that they could approach the job and have some confidence that they could get through and not get fired on their first day, and then really rise up on that ladder, right? And get through it and get to their new career. Because you don't want to stay a PA. That's not something you want to stay for years. Mm-hmm. Not unless you're in LA. And that's a whole nother conversation. Not our conversation.
Yes, yes.
We like it up here.
You know what? It does not take long if you've got what it takes. So if you're not moving, if you're not progressing, into greater and greater areas of responsibility,
there's a reason.
Time to look at that accounting degree.
Well, either that or buy the course and figure out what you're doing wrong. Right?
Yeah, buy the course or hire you, as your.
Well, some people don't understand because there is no course out there to tell them what the right attitude is. What is standing by? Standing by just isn't standing in the corner. Standing by is a heightened sense of watching what's going on, anticipating, and doing it before the AD even, like the AD just looks at you. You know what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
That's standing by.
Mm-hmm.
That's standing by. You're like that for long periods of time. So, that's what this course shows you, is it shows you all those inside, tricks, the hidden things. And it's not me, it's all these people telling them that. People like Debbie Brubaker and Chris Knox and Eli Adler and Hilton Day and Francis Bollinger-Reyes, just a bunch of different people. Also Beverly Lewis. Beverly's on there. Yes,
Placer County Film Commissioner Beverly Lewis.
Beverly Lewis is the one that started all this, because she nominated me for a COLA award for a documentary that I did as a location professional up in Gold Mountain in Placer County. And I'll never forget, after the job was done, she sat me down in this little restaurant. Beverly will remember this also. And she said, I'm going to nominate you for this award. And I laughed at her. I said, I never win anything. You're just wasting your nomination. Don't do it, Bev. And she did. She nominated me. And about, I don't know when it was, a long time after, a couple months afterwards, maybe longer, coming from Sacramento. I was doing a job in Sacramento. And I was coming back from on 36. And I got a call from, I didn't realize it was from the Film Commission. And I got nominated and I won the nomination for 3 people. I was going to go down to Santa Monica, and I thought it was a, nonsense call. So I hung up on her. She called me, Robin, don't you hang up on me. Don't hang up on me. I'm like, who are you? And what do you want? Then she told me, I was like, oh my God. Wow, Bev. We got through the first thing. And then I actually went down to Santa Monica with Debbie Brubaker and Emily Purcell, and I won that night. So.
Well, that's very nice.
It was all Beverly's fault.
Nothing better than when you get, acknowledged for what you love to do.
Yes.
I mean, there is no greater joy.
It's really true. It's really true, Lori. And it's nice to have those acknowledgments, and we have that in this industry. That's the other thing, is we like to do that.
Yeah. Well, Beverly's laughing, and you are well deserved. That's really nice to hear. Let's see here. Share your screen and play the video. I don't have a screen. Okay, we're not going to dink around with that. We already know where to see the videos. I'm going to
go to the website. Go to the website, check it out, share it with people. If you know people that are trying to get into the industry, I made this really inexpensive, guys. The 20% off is on the full series. You can buy the courses individually for like $25. It's super cheap. And I did that because I want everybody that wants this to be able to have it, especially now. Competition for jobs is going to get fierce out there, guys, for at least a little while. We're going to go back to shooting. We're going to go back. The entertainment industry is not going down, but the competition is going to get tough. So you're going to need all the help you can get. And I hope this helps.
Yeah. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I have been wanting to get together physically and connect with you. This is not quite the same thing, but it's sure better than nothing. And
absolutely. Same here, Lori. It's been a real pleasure.
We're now in our tool bag. So as we want to really approach some other areas to share education in production, we're going to tap into you, I think, as we go down the road too. So stay tuned for that. Cool about your conversation this week is that it leads into a conversation that Aaron Leong, who is playing our engineer today. Aaron is going to be hosting an interview with Brian Hilton next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. So on the 26th from 7 to 8. Aaron, you want to stick your face on and talk? Yeah.
Hey guys.
Oh, there you are.
There you go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The CFAA.
We'll be talking to Hilton next week, and we're gonna
Hilton
be
Day?
talking-
Hilton Day?
Hilton Day.
Right.
Oh,
Yes,
wonderful.
ma'am.
Oh,
So we'll be talking to him about how he got into the industry, what his job duties are, even as an AD. A lot of people don't understand what the AD does on set, and actually, he'll also be talking about how he uses PAs on set, like where he spreads them out throughout the set, and what they do for him, which will be
Wonderful.
pretty insightful. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great, Aaron. Yeah, Hilton's knows his stuff.
He
And
sure
because
does.
he was a PA, he has empathy towards PAs.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also tough on them. Like he knows what needs to happen.
Yep,
and so
absolutely.
that's good. I think if you are a PA or you have been a PA, I think it's better. I do.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's that Disney mentality of everybody that comes into work at the, corporate end of the park has to start from the bottom and experience every job so that you can relate to what your workforce is being expected to do.
It will serve you in the long run to spend that time at the bottom of the rung. And if you don't, you won't understand those at the bottom of the rung. And that's just,
Yeah.
it's really that doesn't mean you won't be good. It just means there's a certain understanding when you're a PA about other PAs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to hang you
Sorry
up
about
longer. Thank you so much for your time. I hope that you can all come back next Tuesday night when we're live with this next conversation that's going to just take you down that further journey of working in production and what all the different jobs are. How people at these different jobs got to that point is, I think, one of the most interesting stories that we can tell. So we learned a lot about that from Robin today. And next week provides even more. So thank you guys for joining us, the Capital Film Arts Alliance. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, whatever you need to do on TikTok, do it.
I love TikTok.
We haven't quite figured out how to incorporate that into our marketing yet, but
I don't know, but that makes me laugh a lot.
I appreciate all of you, and we're gonna be back to normal before we know it. I'm already hearing rumblings of productions that are starting to kind of plan and get moving, and so fingers crossed, we're gonna see more and more of that. And
real quick, Lori, San Francisco put out new guidelines for shooting under COVID today.
Okay.
So check out the website.
Okay, we'll do that. And I know that Jennifer has been working with the city to develop that same guideline for the county and for the city. And so we'll definitely have our own information, but they're all pretty much, I think, following
pretty much the same. Yeah.
step. I can't imagine.
You can go up and kiss that person in Sacramento, but you can't in San Francisco. No, it's all gonna be like, right?
Yeah. Okay, Robin, girl, it's been an adventure. I love it. Thank you for coming on board. You guys check out that video and please give her a shout out online or any place you can and tell her how great she is, because she is a gem and we're so happy to have added you to our treasure box.
Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.